Greetings, curious minds, and welcome to Sacred Bible. Are you ready to journey beyond the familiar verses and delve into the hidden chapters of creation? Here, we explore the profound mysteries, the startling revelations, and the forgotten histories that lie veiled within the sacred texts. Prepare to have your understanding of the biblical narrative challenged as we uncover truths that have been whispered for millennia. Tonight, we embark on an extraordinary quest to unearth the existence of immortal kings who reigned over earth long before Adam's first breath. Their story is one of divine authority, impossible reigns, and a legacy that may still echo in our world today. Get ready to have your perceptions shifted. Let the unveiling begin. For countless ages, the narrative has been carefully woven: Adam, the singular origin, the first breath upon this nascent world, the genesis of humankind's dominion. Yet, a deeper current flows beneath this familiar surface, a whisper from epics veiled in cosmic dust. What if the tapestry of creation holds threads unseen, rulers who commanded this sphere long before Adam's awakening? Immortal sovereigns, their authority divinely etched, presiding over an era swallowed by the relentless tides of time, a forgotten reign we were never meant to recall. The sacred text declares, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form, and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep." But within this foundational statement lies an enigma, a silent chasm pregnant with unanswered questions. How could the architect of perfection, the source of all light and order, bring forth a realm cloaked in primordial chaos, an abyss of emptiness and shadow? What cosmic drama unfolded in the pregnant silence between these two verses? What majestic structures rose and perhaps crumbled into dust? What destinies were forged and then extinguished, all before the first stirrings of human existence? From the sun-baked earth of forgotten empires, from libraries buried beneath millennia of shifting sands, ancient texts emerge like spectral voices, murmuring tales of a civilization that walked this planet before the first human footfall. A lineage of potentates, their essence not of fragile flesh and bone, not molded from the common dust of the earth. They held sway over a world whose memory has been deliberately shrouded, a cosmic amnesia imposed by the relentless march of time or perhaps by forces beyond our comprehension. Their very names have been meticulously excised from the scrolls of history, their monumental legacy interred beneath layers of forgotten epics. Yet, as we delve deeper into these mysteries, a compelling question arises: has the celestial realm truly forgotten their existence? And more importantly, has the divine consciousness itself allowed their memory to fade entirely? If these ageless kings, these beings touched by a form of eternity, truly governed this pre-Adamic earth, surely some indelible mark of their sovereignty would have endured, etched into the most ancient chronicles accessible to humankind. And with astonishing resonance, the evidence seems to whisper its affirmation. Within the crumbling ruins of ancient Mesopotamia, where the echoes of long-lost civilizations still resonate, archaeologists unearthed a cuneiform tablet unlike any other, the revered Sumerian King List. This artifact, a testament to a forgotten scribal tradition, meticulously chronicles a succession of monarchs who reigned over Earth before the cataclysmic Great Flood, their periods of rule stretching far beyond the natural limits of human lifespan, pushing the very boundaries of belief into the realm of the surreal. These were not the fleeting spans of mortal lives, measured in decades and centuries. These were the reigns of these primordial sovereigns, epics of rule that dwarf the entirety of recorded human history. Then, with stark simplicity, the ancient tablet delivers a pronouncement of unimaginable consequence. Then the flood swept over. What manner of beings possessed the authority to command such unimaginable stretches of time? What form did these kings take, these rulers who walked the earth in an era before the first human consciousness flickered into existence? These are not the fanciful embellishments of myth, they are presented as historical records, painstakingly carved in stone by a civilization that seemingly had no reason to fabricate such extraordinary claims. Could these inaugural rulers have possessed an essence beyond the human form? Could the very fabric of their being have been woven from the celestial, touched by the divine? Mainstream scholarship often relegates the Sumerian King List to the realm of legend, a collection of allegorical tales. Yet, a curious anomaly persists. A significant number of the kings who appear after the deluge have been substantiated by archaeological discoveries. Their cities have been unearthed, their tombs identified, their timelines harmonized with the broader tapestry of known history. Why then, this categorical dismissal of the earlier entries? Why would a civilization meticulously blend verifiable fact with pure fabrication, unless the entirety was once held as a sacred, undeniable truth? A cryptic passage in Genesis 6 verse 4 offers a fleeting, unsettling glimpse into this antediluvian world. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men. The Nephilim, beings of immense stature and power, born from the enigmatic union of the divine and the mortal. But let us delve deeper into this veiled history. What if, preceding these potentially corrupted interminglings, there existed a pure lineage of divine rulers? Beings whose authority stemmed directly from the celestial realm, who governed an earth untouched by the shadow of transgression, in an epoch before the very concept of sin cast its long darkness upon creation. This notion of a pre-human age ruled by immortal beings is not confined to the Mesopotamian cradle of civilization. The ancient Egyptians, their civilization steeped in arcane knowledge, chronicled the reigns of gods who preceded their pharaohs. Hindu scriptures speak of vast cosmic cycles, divine ages spanning unimaginable millennia. The Greeks, in their myths of the Golden Age, echoed a memory of a time ruled not by fallible humans, but by beings touched by immortality. Across disparate cultures, across the vast expanse of continents, a consistent echo resonates, a forgotten era, a time when the scepter was not held by mortal hands, but by beings who possessed a form of eternal existence. Even within the sacred texts of the Bible itself, subtle yet profound confirmations emerge. In the book of Job, a text that probes the very nature of divine justice and cosmic order, God himself recalls a time predating the very foundations of our world. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Were these sons of God merely passive celestial observers, witnessing the genesis of creation from a distant vantage point? Or were they active participants, the very kings ordained by the celestial hierarchy to govern the primordial earth, to shape its nascent form according to divine decree? But then, a cataclysmic event, a cosmic disruption, shattered this primordial harmony. Psalm 82, a passage often overlooked in its profound implications, contains a chilling decree, a divine judgment leveled against these very beings. What was their transgression, the pivotal act that led to their celestial downfall? What became of these immortal kings who once held dominion before the dawn of humankind? The answers lie shrouded within the cryptic verses of Scripture, concealed in the shadows of forgotten history, waiting for a light to pierce the darkness and reveal their long-hidden truth. Psalm 82 unveils a stark judgment. I said, "You are gods, and all of you are sons of the Most High. But you will die like mere mortals, you will fall like every other ruler." This is not presented as metaphor, it is a declaration of judgment. A pronouncement that these divine rulers had fallen from their grace, and their fate was sealed. Though their names may have been largely erased from religious texts, the memory of their existence was not entirely extinguished. Fragments remain, etched in ancient stone, whispered through forbidden texts, and perhaps even buried in the very soil beneath our feet. These were the kings before Adam. And when the flood came, it seemed heaven closed the chapter on their reign, but perhaps not the entire book. What if one of them never truly fell? What if one remained, hidden in plain sight, reappearing in a later time under a different name, a figure with no discernible beginning and no end? Enter Melchizedek, the enigmatic king of Salem. After the flood silenced the records of the ancient kings, Scripture falls strangely silent about such long-reigning, divinely empowered figures. It seems the age of immortals had passed, until this mysterious individual emerges in Genesis 14. He appears out of nowhere, without lineage, without any recorded history. He meets Abraham, blesses him with profound authority, and then vanishes just as suddenly. But what makes Melchizedek truly perplexing to religious scholars is the description in Hebrews 7 verse 3, without father, without mother, without genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of God. He remains a priest forever. Who, or what, was Melchizedek? He is called the King of Salem, meaning King of Peace. He is also described as a priest of El Elyon, God Most High, a divine title used sparingly in the Old Testament. This alone marks him as significant. But the deeper enigma lies in the implication of Hebrews that he is immortal, eternal, uncreated. Some theologians attempt to soften this mystery by suggesting he was merely a type of Christ, a symbolic foreshadowing. But the text does not say he was like someone without genealogy, it states he has none. These are not simply literary devices, they are declarations. And that changes everything. If Melchizedek truly has no beginning and no end, then he cannot be merely human. He cannot be just another prophet or priest. He stands apart from every other figure in the Bible, except one. Only Jesus Christ is described in similar terms, Alpha and Omega, the Eternal One, the High Priest forever. Yet, Hebrews 7 goes even further, stating that Jesus was made a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Not the other way around. This implies Melchizedek came first. This opens a startling possibility. What if Melchizedek is not a symbol pointing forward, but a remnant pointing back? A surviving member of the immortal kings, now veiled beneath a holy title? The last witness of a forgotten era, still operating under divine authority? Psalm 110 verse 4 offers a cryptic echo. The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever, in the order of Melchizedek. This was written centuries before Christ, yet it speaks of a divine oath linking a future ruler to an eternal priesthood established by Melchizedek. Some early Jewish and Christian writings speculated that Melchizedek was an angel. Others believed he was Shem, the son of Noah. But neither explanation fully fits the biblical description. Angels do not typically rule earthly cities in the way Melchizedek is presented. And Shem certainly had a genealogy. This leaves us with a profound conclusion. Melchizedek may indeed be a divine being. Perhaps not an angel in the traditional sense, perhaps not even created in the same way as others. But eternal. A king. A priest. A ruler whose origins lie before the need for origins. And if one survived, could there be others? If one king remained hidden through the ages, blessing patriarchs, guiding priests, preparing the way, how many more might still linger in the shadows? In Melchizedek, we see more than just a holy mystery. We see a crack in the fabric of history, a sliver of light piercing through the veil meant to conceal the age of the immortals. Perhaps that veil is beginning to tear once more. And perhaps, the kings are stirring again. The question remains, are we prepared for the unveiling of this hidden history? The verses of Psalm 82 resonate with the weight of celestial judgment. I said, you are gods, and all of you are sons of the Most High. But you will die like mere mortals, you will fall like every other ruler. This pronouncement echoes not as gentle metaphor, but as a stark decree, a divine verdict delivered upon those primordial sovereigns. Their transgression, whatever cosmic imbalance they wrought, sealed their fate. Though the relentless currents of time and the deliberate hand of forgotten ages have largely expunged their names from the sacred scrolls, the spectral memory of their dominion lingers, a faint whisper in the hallowed halls of forgotten lore. Fragments persist, like shards of a shattered celestial mirror, ancient carvings upon weathered stone, their cryptic forms hinting at beings beyond human ken, forbidden texts, their pages brittle with age, whispering secrets in forgotten tongues, and layers of earth, each stratum a silent witness, burying the remnants of their forgotten reign beneath the relentless march of millennia. These were the kings who walked before Adam, their presence a silent prologue to the human drama. And when the great flood descended, a cataclysm of divine cleansing, it seemed heaven had drawn the final curtain upon their era, yet, a nagging question persists, was the entire book truly closed? What if the threads of their immortal existence were not entirely severed? What if one, touched by the very essence of eternity, eluded the final judgment, remaining hidden in the tapestry of time, only to reappear in a later age, cloaked in a different guise, a figure defying the very notion of beginning and end? Behold Melchizedek, the enigmatic king of Salem, stepping onto the stage of biblical history with an air of profound mystery. In the aftermath of the flood, when the echoes of the ancient kings faded into silence, Scripture grows strangely reticent about such long-reigning, divinely empowered figures. The age of immortals seemed to have passed into legend until this singular, inexplicable individual graces the narrative in Genesis 14. He emerges from the mists of obscurity, devoid of lineage, unburdened by any discernible earthly history. He encounters Abraham, the patriarch of faith, bestowing upon him a blessing imbued with an inexplicable authority, and then vanishes as abruptly as he appeared. But the true enigma of Melchizedek, the aspect that continues to perplex and intrigue religious scholars, lies within the cryptic verses of Hebrews 7 verse 3, without father, without mother, without genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of God, he remains a priest forever. Who, or what, was this Melchizedek? He bears the title King of Salem, a name resonating with the promise of King of Peace. He is further identified as a priest of El Elyon, God Most High, a majestic appellation reserved for the divine, used sparingly within the Old Testament. This designation alone elevates him beyond the ordinary. Yet, the profound enigma lies in the very implication of the text in Hebrews, that his existence transcends the boundaries of mortality, that he is, in essence, immortal, eternal, uncreated. Some, seeking to tame this profound mystery, propose that Melchizedek was merely a type of Christ, a symbolic foreshadowing of the Messiah to come. But the sacred text does not merely suggest a resemblance, it unequivocally states that he has no genealogy, no beginning and no end of life. These are not mere literary devices employed for symbolic effect, they are presented as stark declarations of his unique being. And this changes everything. If Melchizedek's existence truly knows no origin and no terminus, then he cannot be confined to the realm of mortal men. He cannot be simply another prophet, another priest bound by the constraints of human existence. He stands apart, a solitary figure distinct from every other individual within the biblical narrative, save one. Only Jesus Christ, the Alpha and Omega, the Eternal One, the High Priest forever, is described in such similar terms. Yet, the passage in Hebrews 7 delves even deeper, asserting that Jesus was made a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Not the other way around. This temporal precedence suggests a startling possibility. Melchizedek existed before the establishment of Christ's priesthood in this specific order. This opens a breathtaking vista of speculation. What if Melchizedek is not merely a prophetic symbol pointing towards the future Messiah, but a tangible remnant pointing back to the forgotten age? A surviving member of the immortal kings, now veiled beneath the sanctity of a holy title? The last living witness of a primordial era, still operating under divine authority, his true identity concealed beneath layers of sacred mystery? Psalm 110 verse 4 offers a cryptic echo, a verse laden with profound implications. The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever, in the order of Melchizedek. This was penned centuries before the earthly ministry of Christ, yet it speaks of a divine, unwavering oath linking a future ruler to an eternal priesthood established by none other than Melchizedek. Down through the ages, various interpretations have sought to this ancient riddle. Some early Jewish and Christian writings speculated that Melchizedek was an angel, a celestial being, momentarily stepping into the earthly realm. Others proposed he was Shem, the righteous son of Noah, his long lifespan mistaken for eternity. But neither of these explanations fully aligns with the biblical portrait. Angels, while powerful spiritual entities, do not typically rule earthly cities in the manner attributed to Melchizedek. And Shem, as a descendant of Adam, undeniably possessed a genealogy. This leaves us with a profound, perhaps unsettling, conclusion. Melchizedek may indeed be a being of divine origin, existing outside the conventional framework of creation as we understand it. Perhaps not an angel in the traditional sense, perhaps not even created in the same way as the celestial host or humanity. But eternal. A king. A priest. A ruler whose origins lie before the very concept of origins as applied to our world. And if one such being survived the celestial judgment and the subsequent deluge, could there be others? If one of these ancient kings remained hidden through the ages, blessing patriarchs, guiding priests, subtly preparing the way for a future redemption, how many more might still linger in the shadows, their true identities veiled, their ancient power dormant yet potent? In the enigmatic figure of Melchizedek, we glimpse more than just a holy mystery. We perceive a fissure in the seemingly seamless fabric of history, a sliver of light piercing through the carefully constructed veil meant to conceal the age of the immortals. Perhaps, as the video suggests, that veil is beginning to tear once more. And perhaps, in the unfolding drama of cosmic history, the kings of that forgotten era are stirring again. The fundamental question that confronts us is this: are we, in our limited understanding of time and eternity, truly prepared for the unveiling of this hidden history, for the potential resurgence of powers that predate the very dawn of humankind? Thank you for joining us on this incredible exploration here at Sacred Bible. We've journeyed into the shadows of prehistory, questioned the very foundations of our understanding, and pondered the existence of immortal kings and the enduring mystery of Melchizedek. But the quest for knowledge doesn't end here. What are your thoughts on these ancient mysteries? Do you believe these powerful beings truly existed? Could their influence still be felt today? We encourage you to share your insights and theories in the comments below. Your perspectives are vital to our growing community. If you found this journey thought-provoking, be sure to subscribe to Sacred Bible for more deep dives into the hidden truths and enigmatic passages of Scripture. Together, we will continue to unravel the sacred mysteries. Until our next exploration, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep the conversation alive.